live from the Capital
Hill Hotel
in SANDTON. And I got a very special guest. Her name is Jackie Phamotse, author of Bear, Blesses Game, and then Bear the Hockey Club.
And I tweet what I like.
I tweet what I like. That one too.
Yeah, that one too.
Yeah, because a lot of people talk about Bear the most, but
Yeah,
I also
do.
like what I tweet what I like. I have to finish reading the book. Like I said, I'm glad I actually finished reading your book, and I'm happy that you wrote that book. But I'll get to that, right? So like somebody might be watching for the first time,
Yeah.
you know, and might have not heard about your book or read your book before. Like briefly, how would you explain the book to somebody that's never heard of it or read about it?
Okay, so Bear is a trilogy, right? About a girl who meets a blesser and falls into a secret society. It also highlights like lives of slave queens and kings and kingpins and mafias and so forth. But yeah, so it's sort of a socially conscious novel.
Oh, yeah?
Kind of thing.
Okay, cool. So it's based on real life events.
Yes.
So how involved were you in this whole thing?
In the novel, the writing, or the storyline?
No, the writing, I believe it's you. And I think the storyline is also yours, right?
Yes.
But like, so are you telling the story from somebody looking from the outside or somebody actually in that circle?
So the story started with Bear the Blesses Game, right?
Okay.
And the main character was Treasure. So I named myself Treasure so that I step away from the character and look at the story from an outsider.
Yeah.
But then it continued with Bear the Cradle of the Hockey Club, right? So as you might have read, some of the chapters come from different characters' point of view. So it's Dintle's point of view, Daphne's point of view, Treasure's point of view. So I used Treasure's storylines because they were my own. It was what I experienced. And then Dintle and Daphne and Treasure, it was from friends and people who were associated with the secret society.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So everything is real.
It is scary.
Like,
Why are you laughing and
no, like
laughing?
especially like the whole sex cult thing, you know? Like some of these things you hear about, right? But
Yeah.
like so this is like real. It happens.
It's a thing. Let me ask you this question, right?
Okay.
How often do you see articles or reports or stories that narrate things like a girl found mutilated dead, a girl left in a fridge or beheaded, head found in a fridge, or body parts missing, or we were stuck in Thailand, we couldn't come back? Or how many times have you heard that? It's a thing.
A lot of the time,
But then the question is, people don't know the backstory, how they got there. So I think the hockey club sort of tried to explain how things happen until you get to the point where you find a dead body.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in that life? Like how did you find yourself, in that whole thing?
In that whole thing.
Yeah.
So it started off with Bear the Blesses Game, right? So the storyline, or my storyline, was I come from Western area, and my parents they come from Lesotho. And my dad was part of the military in Lesotho, and then he came to Johannesburg and worked in mining. So we didn't really come from a well-off family. It was a typical township kind of background. And then we moved to a mining town, which is completely different because you're literally the black family in the white community. And then you go to the Afrikaans school where you're still the black sheep. And then went to boarding school in Free State and then came back. When I came back to Joburg, I decided to do modeling. I'm really tall. And I was skinnier back then. So this is like 2008. I was skinnier back then. I think I was like a size 26. And I'm 1.7 meters. I'm quite tall. So I went into modeling, and a friend of mine introduced me to this sugar daddy. Back then, sugar daddies were really not a thing like now. It was not a common term that everybody used. It was like, oh, okay, it's either you're going to go into polygamy or you're just dating a real old guy. So there was not real terms, or they were thrown out. It was like, oh, you're dating an old guy. Simply because in my culture, in Sesotho, a lot of our sisters were married off very young, like 14, 17, 18, and they were married to people who were 15, 10 years older. So it was not like a taboo thing, because I knew about it, like it was a thing. I just thought people in Joburg still do it culturally in that way. But here, it was more of the lifestyle, where we are, the money that's involved. So it was a bit different from the traditional aspect. So I was stupidly naive, like completely naive. And dating that person, well, obviously it was an introduction. Met him. I didn't even know he was wealthy because he looked like an old raggedy person who just plays golf.
Okay.
And because...
But wait, so why did you date that person if you didn't think that, the guy...
No, he looked normal,
Oh, yeah?
So it was not like I saw any fancy thing. He was like a normal day-to-day person. Until one day, he literally came to pick me up. And I was like, oh my God, what type of car is that? Because, we used to like Corollas, Toyotas.
Yeah.
So you see a Maserati for the first time. You're like, what car is that? I mean, you don't see Maseratis running around often.
Is that a car?
Is that even a car?
Yeah.
So I think that was the first time I actually saw a Maserati in real life. Yeah, that was the first time. So got introduced, dated him for a while, and things got sour, because obviously there's power dynamics. There's a lot of verbal abuse. And then you get to a point where they ostracize you from your family. You can't do things with friends. You can't go to certain places without their knowledge. Or
are these red flags like visible in the beginning?
No. It's like you dating a normal girl and you don't know she's a psycho, So it was not a red flag because he was genuinely very nice throughout maybe the first year. He was really nice. Things were happening as normal. But then towards the second year and the third year, that's where you see the change in behavior, mannerism, the way he treats you, the way he handles you in public and in private, him putting a GPS on your phone, tracking your whereabouts, tracking your banking statements. That was the first time somebody ever said to me, once you come back from the shop, I need to see a receipt.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like I need to check. Does your bank statement and the receipt collaborate? Did you really buy what you said you're going to buy? And where did you buy it? And how long were you there for? So when you left the garage at 3 and your till slip says 15:05, and then you get home like at 5 p.m., where did you spend the other hour? Do you understand the type of thinking? Yeah.
Sure.
So it becomes intense in that way. I think that's where I started realizing that, okay, this is a whole different ball game. This is a completely different relationship. It's not like a girl-boy relationship. And simply because when you're in a relationship with somebody older, they have their own personal agenda why they're dating you, And then you find out, no, this person is also married. So the agenda just magnifies. It's like it's a bigger agenda. And like, oh, I'm just bored, I need a girlfriend. It's like, no, I've got a wife, but I need you to do certain things for me in a certain way. So you're not only a girlfriend, you could be their sex slave, you could be their trophy, you could be their mule, you could, whatever. They've got an agenda. And you're just thinking you're there for a relationship. So that's how I met him. Yeah. Through a mutual friend.
Okay, so as soon as you started seeing, these signs, these red flags, I believe you wanted to get out of the relationship.
No. I was so dumb. When I saw red flags, I thought I could fix it. It was not a case of this person is abusive. He's blocking me from doing things. He wants me to drop my career. No, it was like, oh, okay. How do I now accommodate you? So whatever you don't like, I'll fix. So I always wanted to fix what he didn't like. So maybe if it's my dress code, I would want to fix it. If it's my hair, I would want to fix it. If he doesn't like me being out with friends, then I don't go out with friends. So those kind of things. It was not like, no, you say, I can't do this. Okay, I'm leaving. Yeah. It was like, no. I'm going to stay. I think it's that stupid woman mentality. Try to fix it, try to fix it, try to fix it.
But can you ever fix it though, from your experience?
No. No. You can't fix somebody who... It's like an old stray dog. You can't fix it. This person is like this, and they are showing you that they want things to be that way. They're not saying, meet me halfway. What can we do to fix the relationship? How can we grow together? They're saying, it's either you in or out, but this is my way. So you can't fix that. So, yes, I was dumb enough to stay for another 2 years.
You?
Yeah.
Actually, in the book, you talk about this painting, right?
Yes.
Like, I feel like I wanted to...
It doesn't look like that one. Doesn't look like that one.
Yeah,
But
I don't think would have been
no.
doing the interview.
Yeah, no. I would have been freaked out.
Oh, yeah.
Because that memory will just flash, and I'm like, I'm out.
What
Deuces.
kind of painting is that?
So it's painting that they do. They created with charcoal, right, or water paint, right, and it's sort of a eye. It's like an eye with a small upside down cross in the middle, and then it's got like a diamond in between, in the middle. I saw somebody posted on Instagram the other day, and I got a shock of my life. I'm like, what the heck are you doing there?
Are you for real?
Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you that sign.
Okay. So what were some of the things that you were getting? You know, I know I spoke about some of the horrific things that you went through, but what are some of the material things that you were getting in return?
It's the normal stupid things now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Handbag. I remember back then I had the longest weave. Under my afro, I would have a weave. Expensive makeup. I remember one time I bought makeup for like 4,000 rand.
What's the most
makeup.
expensive thing you owned at the time?
It was my car. My car was the most expensive thing that I had. It was about 800,000, 900,000.
And that's like 10 years ago.
That was 10 years ago.
Probably like just over 2 mil now.
Yeah, most probably if you were to calculate it now, it was a car that would be about 2 mil.
And the most expensive bag you had then?
It was my Dolce & Gabbana travel bag. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a travel bag set. So it was a handbag, cosmetics bag, like a trunk, and like a sports bag kind of luggage thing. So it was like a 4-in-1. I think that cost about 130,000.
Are you for real?
Yeah, like it was a 4-piece.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Bad.
what are some of the
Useless things.
places that you've traveled to?
Well, the traveling was nice because that's memories that you cannot forget, right? Mm-hmm. Traveling is like studying. It's something that you cannot, nobody can take it away. If it's in your head, if you've got the experience, you've got the experience. So I loved Italy. It's still one of my favorite places to go to. I love particularly Florence and Venice. I love... Yeah, Italy. I love Italy. I still do love Italy. Yeah. I like Canada, but Canada's cold, but I like Canada. Amsterdam was nice. Seychelles, Mauritius, the normal it's like a coupon. Everybody can go. It's the normal places, but I think my all-time my all-time favorite would be Italy.
Oh, okay. So, as soon as you got out of that life, did you miss the lifestyle? Like in the earlier days?
Yeah, maybe in the earlier days, maybe the first year after I had left, that 12 months, it was not being financially stable, not having a stable roof, like a place, shelter, you bouncing from one friend to family member to what, you're just bouncing around. Not having access to people, When you're with a powerful person, you have access to people, access to VIP gatherings where you're not the girl who's asking to get a ticket. you are literally
on the guest list.
You are on the VIP guest list. You're not being asked, who are you? Do you have a ticket? Who are you with? You know, having access to the world, really. I mean, there would be days where we would just wake up and go shop somewhere, wake up and go eat somewhere. I'm not even saying wake up and go eat 5 kilometers away, like in another province, you know. Wake up and go eat in Polokwane or Cape Town.
Are you for real?
Yeah, like
from Joburg, and then you
you just drive. It would be that thing, what do you want to eat? I'm like, okay, I feel like game farm food. We're like, okay, let's go to Pezula.
Wow.
Or let's go to Zebula. Zebula is in Polokwane. So we're like, okay, let's go to Zebula.
Just for breakfast?
Yeah, we'll go have lunch there. Or let's go play golf there for the day and then sleep in, and then tomorrow you'll have the breakfast that you said you wanted.
Yo.
So it would be something like that. So having access to travel like that. I don't miss the sex. I don't miss the emotional blackmail. I don't miss the sexual cults. I don't miss the obsession behavior, the psychopathic behavior. I don't miss the lack of freedom. So, yeah, I think the bad outweighs the good, really.
And I think one thing that's also important to mention is that in as much as you had access to these things, you never owned any of them. You know? I think it's something that people should be mindful of.
Yeah.
That you might get introduced to this life, but you actually don't own
No,
anything.
you don't own them.
There's one thing to stay in Sandton, but like if you don't own the apartment,
No.
you don't own your car.
No.
You get what I mean?
No, you don't own anything because everything is like on loan for you. Isn't when you are still in the relationship.
Ish.
And you're comfortable and he's comfortable.
Until he gets another girl.
It's either he gets another girl, or you fall pregnant and he doesn't like it, or his wife finds out about it and destroys the whole relationship, whether you both like it or not, or you don't succumb to his demands so he can take away your privileges. But most of the time, I think maybe I'm pushing it too far, but 90% of the people who date these people always start with 0 and end up with a -0.
Ish.
So you could be worse than how you started.
Than you were before.
Yeah.
And so this whole experience and everything that you went through, did it affect your future relationships?
Absolutely.
Can you imagine?
I think after that, I dated somebody maybe like, who was not older, but he was also maybe 10 years older than me. And I still had trauma, you know, and I still had feelings of resentment, and I still had a lot of rage. So communicating with the person would be very difficult, especially explaining what happened. And sometimes guys would be like, oh, I don't want to date you because you're high maintenance. Or they just judge you on what they have seen online or social media, but they don't care about what it did to you as a human being. So I would be very closed off. I would protect my internal space. I would not share anything, speak about anything. Or every time I had to engage in sex with a partner, I would literally block it out or zone out or fake orgasms or... No, it's the truth. Because I would just fake it so that he just finishes quicker. Just get it over and done with so that you're happy and you leave me alone. You know, I don't want to be part of this engagement. Or I would drink so much that sex doesn't happen. Or... communication would not really be there. It would be like I would force him to always go out. Like, okay, let's be with friends, let's go do things outside so that we're not in the same space where we need to bond and talk about things or share things. So it would be really bad. And I would always like reject gifts because now I had a bad relationship with gifts, right? So if it's my birthday or Valentine or whatever, I'll just return it. I'm like, don't buy my love. I don't want anything. Just keep whatever it is. So for them, it would hit on the ego because they would want to maybe surprise me or give me flowers randomly. I would just reject it. And I would be rude about it. I would not even be like, hey, sorry, I'll be like, why the fuck did you do this? How dare you do this? So I would be very defensive all the time. And it would knock people, you know, it would really knock them.
So, after the whole experience and after you left,
I'm still on the faking one. I know, again.
wow, Jackie. So after, no, it's cool. It's okay. So after the experience, the whole experience, when did the idea of the book come about?
It was part of my therapy sessions.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
because
so you were writing.
Yes, I was writing because I couldn't speak. Not like can't speak. But I couldn't verbalize anything. I couldn't speak about my feelings or experience, and I would have nightmares a lot. So these things would come back over and over and over again as if they're happening now.
So 2 years later, what made you wanna get out of that relationship, and how did you actually manage to like escape that?
So when I was in that relationship, I was 19, 20, somewhere there, 19, 20.
Very young.
I was very young. Now I'm 31, you know, it's like years ago. So I was 19, 20, and I dated the guy for 3 years, 3.5 years, three and a half years. And I had seen so many things that were literally destroying my mental state, literally. I was so depressed, I was so skinny. He had done so many things to me that anybody who was in my shoes at that time would have committed suicide. And I just felt sick. I was emotionally sick. I was mentally sick. I was stressed out. I was not eating. I was abusing alcohol, literally. I was using alcohol like a sleeping pill. Like, I need to drink till I pass out so that I just don't witness anything else, you know? And then I just got to a point where I was really sick of it. And I was sick of being monitored, what I can't do, where I can go. Also being used in these sexual activities, you know. There's lots of cults that are done by powerful people. I don't know. They probably believe it gives them power over people, or it gives them some sort of relevance. You become their trophy. They have the youth against them, so you are the energy that they need. So it's for different reasons, right? But I just felt like if I don't leave, he's probably gonna kill me now.
So you were depressed at the time, right? Obviously,
horribly so.
And you're in a very dark place.
Yeah.
How did you stay sane, if I can keep it like that? Because I think a lot of people could actually lose their minds during that time, you know. And because like, look at the way you turned out, you know what I mean? Like, you turned out pretty good, you know what I mean? So like, what would you attribute that to?
I think the one most important thing that I kept on doing religiously was jogging. People don't understand, and they underestimate the power of being active. So when I would go jogging, I would say affirmations to myself, like, you're gonna be okay, you're gonna get out. I would pray as I'm jogging, and I would literally cry as I'm jogging. I remember this one time, jogging through Rivonia Road. So down Rivonia Road from Morningside towards McDonald, Grayston Drive, do you see?
Yeah.
Jogging all the way up, and I kept on saying, you need to leave, you're going to leave, you're gonna be okay, you just need to be brave enough, you know. And I started working out a plan in my head, because obviously he knew that I went jogging, so there was really nothing that I would do, because I had no car, I had nothing, it's just me jogging. But in my head, I started building a plan, a solid plan, saying, okay, my dad was in the military, so I need to call them and say, listen, I may need protection if I'm leaving this guy. So getting back to my family, how am I going to do that? Because I had not spoken to my family for a very long time. So in my head, I started using that 1 hour of jogging to really plan out my exit, you know. Started looking at his behavior, his pattern, what time he goes to work, when he wouldn't come back, who's his business associate. Started picking up information to use should anything happen to me. I'm stashing things away, like information, not money. I was so stupid, I didn't save any money. I was
Save money.
Yeah. So now I would tell somebody, save money.
Save.
Yeah. So I was just dumb. I didn't even understand what was financial freedom. You know, I just thought, okay, money comes into your account, you have to spend it. So in my head, I was just planning an escape. And I think that 1 hour gave me some kind of sanity to say, you are strong enough to get through this thing. So every time I would go back, I would pull up a strong face and say, okay, you got this. You've got 1 more day or 1 more week. You're going to leave. Until one day I literally ran away. So I had built up courage just by jogging and then making a decision one day when I saw a loophole and I ran away. Literally with a plastic bag, a black plastic bag. I put in 1 or 2 things that I could use. I took my ID and my passport and I left. I left the car he had gotten me. I left the apartment, the clothes, everything. I just left. Literally went to Park Station, got on a bus, disappeared.
Sure.
Yeah, because I had planned it in my head for such a long time. That,
it was premeditated.
Yeah, it was premeditated. I knew that if he goes on a golfing trip, golf or golf day or something like that, golf takes about 6 hours. So I've got that 6 hours where I know he's on a golf course. And he'll probably call me in intervals every 2 hours. So I've got 2 hours to get away or get out of Joburg. So that 2 hours, it's me getting on a taxi, going to Park Station, and disappearing. So you can't track me if I'm in a taxi and I don't have a phone. So you can't track me. It's not like you getting an Uber or taking a flight
I hear
or something. Yeah, in a taxi you can't really get tracked. Yeah, so that's how I literally decided to escape by planning. I think it took me about 6 months to plan it in my head and convince myself that, listen, you have to do this. This is the only way out.
And looking back, are you happy with the decision that you made?
Of course. Imagine, what would I be?
Especially at the time. Like, at the
Yeah. I was very close to death.
Sure.
Because there would be times where I would be a bit resilient towards the stuff he would suggest. And he would literally tell me that, listen, if you don't do this, you'll be gone in 60 seconds, you know. Yeah, exactly. So I knew. And when you're in a relationship with someone, you see their weaknesses, you see their habits, you see the things that they do to people, you hear conversations on the phone, you see these things. So why don't you think you're going to be the next victim? Why do you think you're so special? So I knew that my time was limited.